皆さんこんにちは。ハーフの花へようこそ。So I realized that it's been a really long time since I've done a video, and I really apologize for that. If you can't tell, for those of you who have seen my other like 3 videos, I think it is, it's a little bit of a different setting. I had to, well, not had to, but I moved again, and so it's just, you know, a lot of things happened, and I wasn't able to film for a long time, and so I did feel really bad about that, and I'm very sorry, but I come bearing good news, and I hope that this will make up for it. I'm filming with my iPhone, by the way. My camera is still in boxes and stuff, and like my tripod's laying around somewhere, I don't know where. So you'll just have to forgive me for the bad camera quality. So I think where I left off was I had just, in my last video, sent off my application for JET and was waiting to hear back about an interview. So I got the interview, and I think actually we talked about that. I got the interview, I went to, or maybe not. Anyhow, so I got the interview with JET, and I went to the Nashville location to participate in that, and I was going back and forth between whether or not I wanted to do a video like before and kind of document in between and, you know, do really in depth, but then I thought, you know, we're kind of limited on the things that we're allowed to share, obviously, because, you know, it's all very hush-hush, whatever. So I thought the best route for me to go would be to just do kind of an overall experience after the fact. So my experience was, I was actually very surprised when it came to the questions. It was actually very specific to me and my experiences, which I was expecting more of like kind of a glazed, you know, like kind of an overview of questions, like you know, how would you, but anyhow, I was expecting more, not quite as in-depth as it was. They asked me a lot about my experiences in Japan when I lived there when I was younger, my experiences. I did go to school there until 3rd grade, and they asked me about that. A lot of like really about my life, which was kind of weird, but they wanted to know a lot about that, and also a little bit about my teaching experience. I've tutored, and I kind of did a very small internship with one of my professors at my university, and I've done, you know, like short lessons, but I've never taught a whole class or anything. But I was honest about that, and I told them about my experience, and I enjoyed it and all of that. So I guess what I took away from it, like the biggest thing that I took away from it is that it actually is very specific. You know, I did a lot of, like I told you guys, I'm a big research junkie. I want to know everything, and so I did a lot of research, and, you know, there's the questions that come up, like, can you do, you know, like there's the mock, the whole mock lesson thing, which they didn't ask me to do a mock lesson, but they did ask me to like explain, if I were to do a lesson, what would I do, what kind of activities would it entail, stuff like that. So it wasn't like the full-blown thing, but it was, I guess, a version of that. I did have to do like this, they did do like a Japanese proficiency test kind of thing, like we spoke in Japanese. She asked me a few questions, and there was a professor there who was Japanese. She asked me a few questions in Japanese, and then that was it. It was all very simple. So I know you're gonna hear this like 1,000 times, and I'm sure that anybody that's researched anything about JET and the interviews will hear this until it makes you sick. But the most important thing, I think, I felt like was that you make a good impression with them. You show them that you're personable, you know, in your own way. Like, don't go in there, if you're not like a big bubbly person, then don't go in there and make yourself be bubbly. Go in and be personable in the way that you know you can be, you know. You know what, act a little more formal than you would around your friends. Like, I went in and I wasn't like a jokester, but I went in and I was kind of, you know, lighthearted in the way I am around my friends, and I tried to show that this didn't weigh so heavily on me. Not that it wasn't important, but, you know, that I wasn't like shaking with nervousness or anything like that. So, I mean, like everybody says, go in, you know, be yourself, and that's the best you can expect. When I left, at first, I felt like, you know, hey, I might actually have this in the bag. Like, I felt pretty good about it. But then, after we left and I got home, and about a week later, I'd been turning it over and over in my head, which I know is not good, but I just been turning over and over in my head, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, it went so horribly, you know, that was terrible. And I talked to my professor about it, and when I talked to her about it, her response wasn't like, she didn't tell me that I did a bad job, but just, you know, what she had to say, it totally made sense, and it was, I feel, is very true. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I messed this whole thing up, I'm not even gonna get through, and all of that, and it's just gonna be, you know, I'm done, basically. Like, you know, it was just like this big roller coaster of, you know, oh, I think I did all right, oh my gosh, that was terrible, oh, I maybe, nah, you know, as you do. But this brings us to our next section. I did get accepted into JET, and I did cry. I called my mom and, you know, told her the news, and she was like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm just so overwhelmed. But that's just how I am. I'm kind of emotional, you know, whatever. But, so I was accepted, and I'm very excited. And I feel very fortunate. I really don't feel like, you know, when I got the email, I was in class. I was in the 102 class that we kind of go in and we intern for. It's not like an official internship, but anyways, you get what I'm saying. We go in and we help sensei. So so we were there and we were helping, and I got an email, or rather I got a text from one of the other students in our class who also went to the JET interviews, and he said that he had gotten on the alternate list, and I hope he doesn't mind me, you know, putting this on YouTube, but he had gotten on the alternate list, and he had wanted to know what I had gotten, and I didn't even, this was like still March, it was like the end, March 30th or something like that, and I hadn't been expecting anything until at least like April 1st, you know, so I was kind of like shocked that he had already gotten a message, and I was like, well, I'll go and look at my emails now, and when I did, there was nothing there, and then I refreshed the page and it popped up, and all I could see was like JET, and then there's like a little bit of like you know, like in they show you like a preview of the message, and it said, we're honored to inform you that you have been short, and then it cut off, and I was like and so I opened the message, and of course it said you know, you had been shortlisted, and I was like, oh my gosh, in the middle of class. But you know, my sensei understood, of course, because she had like gone through this whole thing with me, and we were all kind of like, everybody in the 102 class is really awesome, and we all just kind of cheered for a second, then went back to work. But it was really cool, and I'm very excited. So we find out our placements in May. There's been talk that perhaps we might find out earlier, because they're kind of like, they've been really on the ball this year, except for in the beginning they weren't. There was like this whole thing with the website, but then after that they kind of, you know, have been really on the ball, which is awesome. And So, so we're waiting to hear back from that. It might be the end of this month, at least by June, they say, so we'll see. But I put Akita on there for my first choice because obviously my family lives there, or a big part of my family lives there. And I feel like I'll probably get it. I feel like the odds are good because what are the chances that, like, you know, there's so many people that want to go to Akita that I won't be able to go, you know. Not that it's not a great place, it is, but it's definitely, like, not Tokyo or even, you know, the smaller cities. Like, it's tiny. But I'm excited. I mean, I would love to get there. I wouldn't mind getting anywhere else, you know. If I get way off the mark, I really don't care. Just being in Japan is better than, you know, not getting exactly where you want it. So I definitely plan on documenting, and I promise to try, you know, harder and do better. But, you know, just this semester I'm graduating May 11th. So things have been a little hectic. Just please bear with me. I do really want to kind of do a very good, very in-depth documentation of this whole experience. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that, and please, if you're interested, please feel free to subscribe, and if you have any questions that you think I might be able to answer, or just any questions in general, leave a comment down below, and I'm usually pretty good about answering comments or questions or whatever. Until next time, dane, bye bye!